So at the very beginning, I quickly decided that I want to create a scene, as it could be a great way to showcase my imagination, creativity, professional skills, and familiarity with the software. And additionally, I could also learn more throughout the production process, so I chose my favorite Japanese architecture because it feels both mysterious and majestic. And eventually, I decided to create an interior of a building used for offering the god. So I gathered a lot of reference materials related to temples and shrines, and eventually decided to go with a Shinto shrine. They are typically used to enshrine the Kamidana. Then I started researching Kamidana. The Kamidana is a small structure used for offering the god, and it could also take a form of a small statue and usually placed in a center of the house or in a spot considered auspicious places. And to better understand the structure of Asian Japanese architecture, I played story-driven games set in Asian Japan, such as Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima, and I spent around 3 weeks deeply exploring this game and captured screenshots of architectural elements that I found useful for my sim creation later on. Right after that, I began researching materials, and traditional Japanese architecture primarily featured wood and tatami, so I focused on the type of wood and tatami used. In Asian Japan, people particularly favor camphor wood, cypress wood, fir wood, and beech wood. And among that, cypress wood was commonly used in construction. So I chosen a texture that closely resembles cypress wood. Then I discovered that in ancient Japan, papers was commonly used for windows and doors, while tatami mats were typically made with cotton linen fabric. And so I gathered many high-resolution images of tatami mats made from cotton linen fabric, try using Substance 3D sampler to create a really simple material. And I think this was an interesting attempt, and it also made me realize how technological advancement has brought great convenience to the game industry. And after finishing my research on materials, I chose my favorite piece of Asian Japanese architecture as my reference, the Katsura Imperial Villa, which is often regarded as a masterpiece of Japanese garden design. And I collected many architectural drawings of Katsura Villa and used them as references to create my own version of the blueprint. And then I imported the blueprint into Maya to begin the modeling process. As you can see, I designed the building with a symmetrical layout and placed the Kamidana right at the center. This is a very traditional layout commonly seen in shrines or temples, where the god is positioned in the most prominent and respectful location, allowing people to worship and pay their respect properly. And most of the modeling work was done in Maya, including both the architecture and the small items, as well as the high poly and low poly models. However, for certain detailed parts that require sculpting, I still use the brush to achieve finer results. And it's worth mentioning that to make outdoor spaces more vivid, I created some bamboo plants. However, instead of using Maya, I opted for split tree design because it's specialized software designed specifically for modeling vegetation compared to Maya, and the split tree is more convenient and efficient when creating plant models. For example, it allows you to control the degree of bending in the plants. You can also emphasize the segment of the bamboo more clearly or fat. I primarily use Substance Painter for creating the materials, and I really enjoy using the masking feature to apply different materials to a single model or to adjust the direction of the wood grain. It allowed for precise control and added a lot of flexibility to the texturing process. But what I found even more interesting was the projection feature. It allows for a much quicker creation for partner texture while ensuring the quality and clarity of the design. Once all the preparation work was completed, I imported all the models into Unreal Engine and assembled them according to my layout plan, resulting in an initial version of the scene. And next, I began planning the direction of the lightning. Since the Kamidana is positioning at the center, and I wanted all the lightning to revolve around it, ultimately using firelight to emphasize a sense of mystery. After that, I placed some cold and point line in the darker area to create a contrast between warm and cold tones. This approach adds more visual variety to overall color palette and also help to better emphasize the main subject. And to make the sunlight feel more dynamic, I also add some tree shaders. I still use bamboo for this lighting effect as well. But to avoid affecting the overall brightness, I place the bamboo in hidden corridors where they wouldn't be visible. And interestingly, to create more engaging lighting on the folding screen, I use the same method and add spotlight to illuminate it. This helped to bring out more depth and atmosphere in those areas. And to give the building a more aged and atmospheric feel, I add some particle effect to simulate dusk. Adjust their size, spin timing, and gravity to ensure they flow slowly through the air, like dust particles falling gently from the ceiling or the wooden beams. And all of this was achieved using the Niagara system. It's a very fantastic and powerful system in Unreal Engine. And speaking of the Niagara system, I also use it to create a candle flames. The principle was the same, but I adjust the particle size to be very, very small and significantly shorten their lifespan. So they will disappear almost instantly. And I also disable gravity to ensure the particle would behave like a flickering flames, giving a more realistic burning effect. And to create a flickering candlelight effect, I built a lighting function that generates a dynamic light behavior based on the time. An idea was to use the time node in combination with function like sign, multiply, frag, and clamp to mimic the flickering of a flame. And by multiplying time with sign and then applying frag, I was able to produce a periodic fluctuatory value that stayed within a 0 to 1 range. And finally, I used clamp to control the output and randomly feed it into the line intensity, giving the flame a natural flickering glow. And for the entire project, I used Cine's camera rails to design my camera movements. The rail system make it easy to set up the extra paths and I want for the shot. And later adjustment like camera shake or changes in aperture were all done by keyframing within the level sequence, which gave me precise control. And overall, using the real system helped make the camera movement much smoother and more stable throughout the render. So aside from a few simple static shots, I primarily use camera reels for all the other camera movements. So after finishing the main work, I explored two powerful plugins called Easy Snow and Easy Rain, which make adding realistic weather effect in Unreal Engine flawless. What stood out were their built-in reflective materials and rain splash effect which automatically generate puddle surface on high map models for greater immersion. And to amplify the mood, I added local high fog in the bamboo forest, creating a misty, layered atmosphere enhanced the cinematic feel of the scene. And also, when I'm using EasyRain's blueprint system, I can easily customize rain amount like color, transparency, direction, and speed, making the entire weather system both flexible and efficient to work with. It's really easy to use. So this concludes my entire presentation, in which showcase my work across various software including Substance Painter, 3D Samplers, ZBrush Maya Speech Tree, and Unreal Engine. Through this project, I'm not only reviewed and applied the knowledge and I've gained over the past 3 years of university, but also learned many new things along the way. For the background music, I chosen Undercoded by Ryuichi Sakamoto, a piece composed as a call for peace and end to war. I listen to it often while working on this project. It brought me a sense of calm and reflection. As I worked it, I couldn't help but feel how quickly these past 3 years have flown by, and soon I'll be returning to my home country. I truly hope for a peaceful future where people have more opportunity to explore and study in different parts of the world. And that's it. Thank you for watching.